What's up everyone, Master Fox here again, and I'm bringing you another budget deck today. And the deck I'm going to be going over with you guys today is Yosenju. So this is another $100 budget build. I'm really excited about this deck because this is one of the budget decks where I really didn't have to make any concessions with the cards at all. And there are a few concessions, but the ones that I did make, they really don't make that much of a difference, and I think the deck works perfectly as is. The only thing is the extra deck isn't complete from the budget, but overall the deck is perfectly fine main deck wise. So I'm just gonna go over the cards. So we're running 3 of the comma 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, and 3 Sujik, and then 2 of the blue pillar. So the monster lineup is pretty standard across all Yosenju builds. Pretty much every single Yosenju stun build will run a monster lineup kind of like this. Some may opt not to run the blue pillar, but I really like running the blue pillar because it keeps your counter trap, the secret technique, live. So it's really good for that. So that's why I run the blue pillar. It also stops things that would really mess with Yosenju's plan, like Mirror Force and Torrential Tribute. So it's a decent card overall, and being searchable is really good too. And I'm running 3 Tenki. This is standard for searching. 2 Pot of Duality is just for more kind of searching through the deck as well. Dark Hole and Regaiki pretty much function the same way in this deck because all your Yosenjus are going to bounce back to your hand anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So Dark Hole is the budget alternative to Raigeki, but as I said, it's the same in this deck. 3 MSTs, that's standard. Solemn Warning, 3 Secret Move, Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 Fiendish Chain, 3 Anti-Spell Fragrance. So this is what you're going to use to stop the main threat, which is Necros and Cliffwards. With Anti-Spell Fragrance out, Cliffwards can't even activate Scout or any of their pendulums, so they can't get any pendulum summons or anything like that. So it really halts their game. It also stops Sacrifice, which is really important to Clifford's strategy as well. So this card not only shuts down Necros, but it shuts down Clifford's really hard as well. Yeah, Necros, it shuts down pretty much every card that they need to work. Preparation of Rites, all their ritual spells, everything like that. It just really slows it down. So this card is really good in this deck. And since you're only running 9 spell cards, this card doesn't really affect your deck at all. We're running 3 Vanities. This is standard for the Yosenju stun deck as well. Vanities doesn't affect your deck really at all because you barely go into the extra deck. And here is what is a little bit different than normal Yosenju stun decks would run. So I'm running 2 Massive Restrict. Oh, sorry about that. I'm running 2 Massive Restrict. Normally most decks would probably run a Mistake. This is one concession that I had to make. Massive Restrict is pretty cheap. It's it's $150 here compared to Mistake. Mistake is $8, which is I didn't realize that it had gone up so much recently. And I chose to main deck Anti-Spell Fragrance because I think it's more important than Mistake, and these are around like $13 a piece. So I chose to main deck 3 of these over any Mistakes, and because these do much more in my opinion. And Massive Restrict actually is a really good card in its own right, and after just playing around with it, I honestly don't think that it's a concession at all, because preventing the tributing of any cards at all will prevent all the ritual summons from Necros, and it'll also stop any tributing plays from Cliffwards. So right there you have a single card that stops 2 of the top decks that you'll be facing. So overall, Massive Restrict is a really good card, and I think it's kind of underrated. Not necessarily overshadowed, it's just underrated because people would run things like Mistake in Yosenju instead. And here I'm taking 2 Imperial Custom, which is also another card not often seen, but I also think it's really good because you can net pluses off of it, like if your opponent's using an MST onto your vanities, say they chain it, like you chain a vanities to a Necroz ritual spell, and then they activate MST to your vanities, then you can activate Imperial Custom, chaining it to their MST, and then their MST will kind of fizzle out, and you'll stop their ritual summon as well. So you're netting a plus off of activating Imperial Custom, and you're also protecting your vanities and other things like that. So that's a really good effect, I think, and it protects the rest of your floodgates as well. So it makes for a really good card in this deck because you run so many continuous trap cards. And so for the extra deck, it's fairly standard. I'm running Abyss Dweller, 2 Tiger King just because Tiger King is cheap, 2 Cowboy. Cowboy is kind of expensive, but I still opted to run 2 because the deck will get your opponent to really low life points a lot of the time, and then you need a finisher, and Cowboy is your finisher. And I'm running Gemknight Pearl just for a high attack XYZ monster. Ragna Zero is a good counter to Clifforts and maybe some other rogue decks. Black Ship of Corn serves as removal, and also the burn damage is actually relevant in this deck because of Yosenju's high damage output, and so he has the finishing potential. Crazy Box is just kind of for skill drain, which you'll run into with Clifforts. And then Kagutsuchi just because he's a pretty resilient card. But yeah, feel free to fill in the gaps with any other staples. Obviously, there are better rank 4s to fill in the extra deck with. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about some of the other cards you can consider for the deck. Trapstun is a really cheap card that is a really good card, I think, in the side deck. And I have it here at 3 because I really think that that's how much you should run in the side deck. Trapstun offers a ton of versatility. You can use it obviously to protect your monsters from trap cards that would counter them. The big one is Mirror Force and Torrential Tribute. So Trapstun locks on all those. It locks on Dimensional Prison. Everything your opponent could possibly throw at you, Trapstun could probably answer all of them. But what Trapstun offers in its versatility is you can use it and shut down any of these floodgates for your turn. So you can shut down Anti-Spell Frag, you can shut down Vanity's Emptiness. Massive Restrictor isn't really relevant to you. But you can shut down Vanity's Emptiness, and you can shut down Anti-Spell Fragrance, and allow yourself to activate spell cards without setting them, or special summon a monster from the extra deck. And then the Trapstun will go away at the end of your turn, and then your opponent is still locked down. So Trapstun offers immense versatility in that way, and this is why I think this card is really essential in this side deck. And it's really cheap too, so there's not much reason not to run it. Shared Ride is obviously a good choice against Necroz and even Clifforts. A lot of Yosenju Stun may even run this in the main deck. I didn't run it obviously because this is a $7 card. Other options in the side deck I think are Shadowing Imprisoning Mirror, Light Imprisoning Mirror. These two are obvious for different matchups, being BA, Shaddolls, and S-Knights. And Fairy Wind and Spell Shattering Arrow. This is for Clifforts, obviously. And Mistake is another main deck option you could think about if your budget allows it or if you have them already. I didn't run them, as I said before, because this is an $80 card. And other extra deck monsters you should consider. Heartland Draco is a really good card because it allows you just to attack straight through monsters. Because you'll often have tanky for it, so you can go into Heartland Draco and get the 2,000 damage in, which because Yosenju can often put high amounts of damage on the board already. Heartland Draco can go through that, and if your opponent's sitting at 17, 1800, anything below 2000, obviously, you're just hitting them straight for essentially direct damage. And this card is a game ender. It's kind of expensive too, is just why I didn't run it in the extra. Castel is your staple rank 4 for removal. He's really good removal. If you have him, then obviously run them. Chidori's a good card in this deck as well because everything's wind, and he offers a bunch of versatility for the deck. And so if you have a Chidori, obviously run Chidori. So the main deck overall comes to $74.16, and the extra deck is $24.34. So the total is $98.50, which sits right under our $100 budget, and we barely had to make any concessions at all for it. The main concessions that we had to make was massive restrict, which isn't really a concession in my opinion. The actual concessions is the incomplete extra deck, but Yosenjus don't really even need the extra deck that much. The main cards, honestly, are Cowboy and Tiger King. The other cards depends on the matchup that you'll go into, but Cowboy is your main extra deck monsters that you want to go into. But this deck is really good for its price because you essentially get the actual full deck for the $100, and you can compete with other meta decks really easily. This deck is like, when you're playing this deck, you're kind of a jerk to every other meta deck out there because you shut down all their plays and you don't let them do anything that they are trying to do. And Yosenju have proven themselves to be a very good anti-meta deck, having topped many tournaments from different TCG tournaments in America and in Europe as well. So tell me what you guys think about this deck, and please like this video if you liked this deck, and subscribe to me if you want to see any more budget decks and gameplay videos of these budget decks. Thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.